Here we are on the 15th tee at Peebles Golf Club. Make sure you post your comments below on my previous video, senior golf tips. So guys, these are the 3 most common faults I see within golf and my experience of coaching golfers in the past sort of 2 to 3 years. So number 1, okay, so you say to a lot of golfers, right, what you need to do is you need to create a wider downswing path, which is going to help you create more speed. But I always think about the more width we create on the downswing, the more we have to rotate to get the club back on. So the wider the club goes away on the way down, the more we have to rotate to get the club back into the golf ball. That's power leak number 1. So the wider we go, a lot of golfers are kind of restricted in that department with rotation. So think about, they go too wide on the way down and then they have a lack of rotation. So think about the club's going too wide on the downswing, which is almost kind of that casting action. So the fishing action where we're casting, the club gets wider away from our body. So think about the club goes wider on the backswing, not the downswing. So the club goes wider. I'm maintaining this lever in my left arm, club shaft as well. And then as we come back in, the arms are pulling the club closer to my body. So the club works wide on the way back and then narrower to the body on the way through. What we want to do is get too narrow on the way back and then too wide on the way down. See how I lose my wrist angles there? So if I get to the top of the backswing, I'm going wider on the way back and then narrower on the way down. I'm maintaining wrist angles. I'm almost in that position where my left wrist is kind of de-lofted and then I'm hitting up on the golf ball. So we are going wide on the way back, then narrower on the way through, okay? So wider is too steep an angle of attack. So what I mean by steep an angle attack, if you pay attention to my right shoulder, okay, a lot of golfers who get steep, what happens is that club shaft gets in front of that right shoulder on the way down, okay, that's shallower, that's steeper. A lot of golfers get the club working too much in front of the right shoulder on the way back, club heads point to the sky, butt ends point to the ground. And when we're taking the club back on the way down, feel like the club head kind of stays wider away from the body, okay, so not necessarily wider because that was power leak number 1. So guys, feel like the club head staying more behind me, okay, on the way through. That and the right elbow stays more in kind of towards your right hip. The last thing we want to do is get the club steep. See, my right elbow comes away from my body. Club's not working out in front of us. Feel like the club stays more behind us. How do we do that? We keep our right elbow almost close to our right side. The club works in a shallower path. See how the shaft's a little bit lower than my right shoulder then, and then we're going to come round and hit golf ball and create a nice shallow angle attack. So tip number 3, or power leak number 3, is hitting down on the golf ball. So what I mean by that is, if you were digging a hole in the ground with this driver, okay, so there's a tee in the ground, we're trying to dig a hole. I see a lot of golfers who sky their driver too much, and that's not because the tee's too high, it's because the tee's too low and you're trying to hit down on the golf ball to try and get the ball in there, or you break too many tees. So what I want you to feel like you're doing, if you look at any sort of good player, the club head always kind of works low to the ground and high on the way through. So think about a drill to focus on, right? So if I was to come down too steep, what I mean by coming down too steep is if you think about the grooves on the golf club, right, that's hitting up. So see how the sole of the ground is almost bouncing off the ground. I see a lot of golfers who hit down the ball, the sole's kind of back, the club head kind of digs into the ground like that. So if I hit up on it, I'm increasing loft and with low spin, okay? If I hit down on it, I'm increasing spin, but I'm decreasing distance. So there's a kind of thought to have. So we get to the top, feel like we're just clipping that tee. So feel like we're kind of just clipping the tee, almost kind of like that. If you hit down on the golf ball, you're going to snap a lot of tees, so you're almost going to come down like that. So tee the ball up again. We're just clipping the top of that tee, kind of almost in that position. And drill number 2, what I want you to do is I want you to place a ball in front of that tee, right? So if I come down too steeply, I'm going to take the tee out, then the golf ball, so kind of almost in that position, clipping the top of the tee, and we're allowing the club head to move up the way, almost in that position. So I'll not hit any shots. I went to the gym 2 days ago and my arms are absolutely killing me. That's a sign of hard work. Tips that's going to help you increase more distance by knowing where the power leaks are coming from. So what we talked about there, remember, we're taking the club back too narrow and then too wide on the downswing. We're losing our wrist angles. Tip number 2, the the shaft gets a little bit steep. Remember what I talked about, the club gets a little bit too vertical. That's created from the club not creating enough space on the way down. So think about the club heads travelling more from behind you, and the club gets a little bit lower than your right shoulder. And tip number 3 was obviously we need to hit more on the upward driver, so the club head is travelling low to the ground, then it starts working higher. The last thing we want to do is get the club head working from high to low, and then we're breaking a lot of tees. We're having to buy tees every 2 days because we're hitting too far down in it. So guys, tee the ball up as high as you can, hit up on it, strive for teeing the ball up higher, trying to get that launch angle up. That's going to create more distance, and that's going to hopefully help you hit the ball further. Any thoughts on that video? Post your comments below, like the video, subscribe to the channel, and share the video around with your friends.